Hello.
Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Say hi, Mom. We've invited her to be on the video with us, but she doesn't want to be.
She's like, she's like that Sasquatch thing you can't find in the woods. We don't really believe she's here.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's like Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, only Littlefoot, yeah.
But we do see evidence of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like her around.
Yeah. Yep. So we know she's been here because there's evidence.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
A funny story. So, tonight, Mr. Diggles pooped in the house because, he's still a baby. And anyways, Mom didn't know and stepped in it and then stepped around and there's poop all over. So, we have evidence that Bigfoot is around because there was poopy foot marks around. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
Anyways.
so Mr. Diggles is in trouble.
Mr. Diggles is in trouble for pooping. Hi, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany.
Hi, Love Bug.
The screen is black.
Oh.
Might be your iPad.
Yeah. Can you see us, Miss Brittany?
Brittany, can you see us? Grandma's iPad might have poop on it too. Hi,
guy.
Britt.
Hello there.
I think she can see us. All right, guys.
All right.
Well, jumping into Acts 25. Hope you guys had a great day. Good. Thanks, Brittany. She said she can see us.
Yay. I wish we could see you.
I know. That would even be funner.
I know. It'd be really neat like that. Okay.
Well, jump right in. Pshing.
Paching. So, anyway, oh yeah, let's see. Okay, yeah, so Paul was, when we left off, had been left in prison for 2 years.
Yes.
And then finally Festus takes over, and then he goes to Jerusalem, and then the Jews are still wanting to kill him. They want to do anything they can to kill Paul.
Yes.
And so Festus is really, compared to the other guys, he's a better a governor, and he's a nicer governor, and he's trying to repair everything that Felix and the governor before him destroyed, including Herod. And so he's trying to make warm relations with them again. And so he's in Jerusalem. And so... Sorry.
There's the dogs again.
Yay, dogs. So in verse 3, they're asking for a favor for Paul to be brought to Jerusalem so they can put him on trial, but they're not really wanting to put him on trial. They have a plan to kill him.
Yes.
They want to ambush him again.
Mm-hmm. Same plan they had before.
It's just amazing. But Paul just has to go through so much stuff. But Festus is pretty smart. He says, how about I got to go back up to Caesarea, and why don't you guys come with me and we'll charge him there.
Mm-hmm.
And so a few days in Jerusalem, he goes up to Caesarea, and then you got a note right there on verse 7, kind of about that.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a note on 7 because I think it's funny that it's not funny. It's really sad. But here they are bringing charges up against Paul, and what's the last line say? That they could not prove. Bing, ding, ding, ding. There, can't prove it. It must be innocent. So it's just sad they keep doing that, but they're drumming up those charges and they can't prove anything.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then I had a note on 12 that Paul is saying, like, Festus is like, okay, well, you want to go to Jerusalem? He's like trying to get out of it and saying, go ahead, go to Jerusalem, because it's really, you didn't commit any wrongdoing, so it's a religious thing. So do you want to go to Jerusalem? Mm-hmm. And Paul's like, no, I'm Roman, and I want to, go to be tried correctly and all that good stuff, and I want to go to Caesar. And so, or I appeal to Caesar. And he's like, okay, so to a Caesar you appeal, to Caesar you will go. And what I think is cool is remember, all along, Paul is supposed to go to Rome.
Yeah.
Jesus even told him, hold tight, everything's going to work out, you're going to get there. And here you can see all this stuff, the Jews keep coming back, and it's all this mistreatment, and he's in prison for 2 years. But he actually is going to get to go to Rome. All this is being played out to get there.
Yeah, and actually that's what my notes are kind of on right here, is about all this is within the providence of God.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because you brought up actually that.
Uh-huh.
Back in, I think it was, I made a note, of course. In chapter 23, remember Jesus said, take courage, for as you've testified the facts about me in Jerusalem, so you must testify also in Rome. And that's an encouraging thing. He knows he's going.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything that's against Paul there's no reason why Festus wouldn't have said the first time, well, why not? You're a Jew, come to Jerusalem or whatever. And he would have been killed by the mob. And so constantly, Paul's escaping these things, and we see this pattern of having to go to court and being tried over and over again. But what it comes down to is that even governors are ordained to be there by God. And we can prove, when Jesus, I thought it was interesting today from John MacArthur. I love that. He was talking about how Jesus, when Pilate, he started getting mad. Pilate got mad at Jesus because Jesus wouldn't answer him.
Right.
And Jesus kept trying him, or Pilate kept trying him. He wouldn't say anything. And finally, Pilate gets mad and says, You're not going to speak to me? Don't you know my power? Don't you know my authority? And Jesus says, you'd have no authority over me at all unless it had been given to you from above. So even though, he's been voted in by people and stuff like that, still God's the ultimate authority. And Paul makes that stance again in Romans 13. He says, let every person be subject to governing authorities because there's no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. So here we see again that God's actually in control with Paul. And even though it's looking bad all the time, stuff like that, God's in control and his plan has come to pass.
That's true.
Yeah, even using bad people to do it. So
that's a very good point. And I was going to say, too, like something you had mentioned, which was really good, awesome points. But when, like you were saying, so it's really bad that Paul's in prison for 2 years and he's, he got beat up in the beginning of it and stuff like that. And that's bad. But if he would have gone to Jerusalem, they would have killed him, and that's even worse. So sometimes, we may be going through something bad, but God is still working it out because there's something worse that probably would have been God's preventing us from.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of a cool way to go through bad stuff, too.
Yeah. So, let's see. I wanted to tell you a story about that, but I'm going to change that. Okay, so I'm going to go from here.
To our next note, right?
Where's your next note at?
You gotta keep on going.
Oh, there it is. So we skim down to 22.
Yes, on verse 22, I just thought it was interesting because the footnote is Agrippa wants to see Paul himself. And what's neat about Agrippa and Bernice, but the thing about Agrippa is that he knows a lot of the Jerusalem
Like the
customs and stuff. So he's very familiar with Jewish laws and customs and stuff. So it's kind of cool. He's going to be able to shed some light, but he also is going to end up helping Festus write the letter to Caesar so that they can get Paul to Rome, because Festus doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So, and it's also funny that Agrippa and Bernice, they're actually, I guess, like brother and sister.
Something like that.
And they're having incest and stuff. So, bleh.
Yeah.
But, anyways, and then I guess that's about it. Because I wanted to mention on the pomp. So when Festus comes in, when King Agrippa comes in, he makes pomp. He comes in. It says pomp, but it's like a big production and to do because he's like royalty and he's like dun da da, and makes a big scene of just how important he is. So
yeah, he thinks he smells good.
Yes.
Yeah, but he don't smell so good.
No, he could step in Mr. Diggle's poop.
Yes, he could have. Yep. So anyway, it's going to be interesting how the story's going to unfold.
It's
and
fun.
We're going to see more of Paul being tried and things like that. But while we're doing that, we can continue to watch how God works within the governors or the people who are making rulings over him, and see how every event, all the way up to the chapter 28, is going to be God working through horrible things or things that are not fair to bring something good out of it.
That's cool.
And it's pretty cool.
That's encouraging.
It really is.
Yeah.
So God is in control.
Yeah, God is good.
God is good.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, thanks you guys for joining us. Hope you guys have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
And
Brittany, come on over.
Come on over. Bye, guys. Love you.
Guys.
Thanks for joining us.